Okay, we're recording.
All right. Hey, everyone. Alix Sabatelli here in Northern California to welcome you to this exciting presentation on telomeres, nutrition, and the science of age reversal. Now, I have the honor and privilege of opening this meeting and introducing you to telomere and nutrition expert Dave MacArthur. But before we get started, and as people are joining in, I'd like to just take a moment to congratulate you for showing up here and ask you for your full attention to get the most out of what's going to be shared here tonight, because it could quite possibly transform your life. And the person who invited you here or to listen to this recording has most likely themselves experienced either an incredible empowerment and positive change, or has even met and heard of other people who have as well. So I like to call myself a transformation junkie, and I totally geek out on reversing aging. I used to be, well, actually now I especially am stepping into my previous role as a nutrition expert. Gosh, I am just stepping back in, huh? It's been 30 days here that I've just dove back in. So I've been a nutrition expert and a coach, and I've been biohacking ways to reverse the clock for some time, basically to achieve and maintain optimal health and weight, body composition, increase energy, optimize performance inside and outside of the gym, and just all around feel my vitality. And we have to just face it, because most people really are looking for solutions like this. So I've asked Dave to share some groundbreaking Nobel Prize winning science on a few key solutions that are both proven and guaranteed to feed your body what it's starving for, to do what it's really designed to do, and that's to thrive. So this presentation is going to be about maybe 50 minutes or so, and we're going to be sure to provide solution options for you within the call. And while you're watching, I want to ask you just to have a pen and paper handy and jot down the questions you might have and the names of the people you might be thinking about as you're listening to this. I want you to kind of open your mind to that, because he's going to be sharing his own story and many other stories that are going to remind you of some of those people. So while we're focused here on product information and science and health solutions, we do have more to share. And because wellness is not just wellness of the body, wellness is wellness of the whole life. And unless you have financial wellness, you're not at all well. So we recognize this. We also know that naturally a number of you are going to want to learn how to share this with other people just right away, and to perhaps just pay for your products, build a side residual income, or maybe like some of us, align with an Integrous company and maximize a brilliant marketing plan to transform thousands of lives. So I'm going to jump back on for a moment after he's done with this science and health information to allow some folks to pop off the call if you want, and then we'd like to offer just a peek into that opportunity for you. It's a door we're going to crack open, invite you to walk through at any time should you choose to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to a man who I met just a couple of months ago, who's already transformed my life and helped me to start really helping many others. Welcome and thank you, Dave MacArthur.
All right. Thank you so much, Alix.
You bet.
It's been great working with you, and just your passion and your integrity and really your wherewithal to really move somebody's life forward. And this is going to be an amazing journey. So I've been with this company for 13 years now. And what I'm going to share with you truly transformed my life. So I'm going to jump right into the information, and all of that will come out, you know, my transformation, the things that I've learned and that I've passed on to other people. And that has been a catalyst and a facilitator to transform their lives as well. Before I get started, I just want to share this picture right here. This is my friend, Jimmy Smith. I've known him for 13 years, and he's in the company, and he was in the company when I started. So Jimmy Smith is 80 years old right here, and he just turned 90. This is his 90th birthday picture right here. And as you can see, Jimmy looks younger, and he is younger. And I want to talk about the science of how this is happening. I look younger. And you'll actually see some of the pictures here and a video with me in it that you'll be able to see that that's quite obvious. Before I get started, I just want to give the disclaimer that we're not here to medically diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illnesses or diseases. We're talking about nutrition and really getting to the foundation of supporting the body and introducing you to a way that we're supporting the body that just literally hasn't happened before. And that's why, you know, one of my passions is in sharing this presentation is we're pioneering something here that most people don't even know about. So in its own sense, that is very thrilling, I'm filled with enthusiasm with that. So, but we're not going to make claims around our products curing any illnesses or diseases. We'll just support the body, and then we'll be able to watch what the body does. The FDA monitors that and makes sure that we don't make those claims as a nutritional company. Now, this was me back when I was 36 years old, and my life was, I just felt like everything that I was trying to do to move our lives forward as a family, I just kept getting resistance and challenges, and it wasn't really moving forward. And I found myself working harder and doing less and less of the things that I wanted to. And I lost my health in the process. I always had a problem with fatigue and being tired. And at 36 years old, it is the worst it had ever been. And I got to a point where I was actually praying for God to take my life or help me find a solution, while I was actually looking and working out my own solutions, which weren't really very effective. But I was also praying for God to bring something into my life, because I realized it wasn't working. And if that wasn't the case, then go ahead and take my life, because I'm ready to go. I was just really struggling every day. The fatigue and the depression and the tired, it was too much. It was like just getting through the day was hard enough. So after about 4 years of feeling like that, I was just ready. And so this is just a representation of what my life was like at that time. This is the house we were living in, a little 1,300 square foot home. We have 5 kids. We were trained as professional parents to be able to work with kids with special needs, and they would live with us. And we had one gal live with us for 6 years that had special needs. And so we really crammed quarters. I had a paper route. I would deliver newspapers every morning at 4:30. This was our van, our 1989 Dodge Caravan. And the window on our house actually shattered. It stayed in place, thankfully, because it was $600 to replace that window. And it stayed broken for years. I could make some extra money fixing cars at night and throwing the newspapers, but it always went to something that was more pressing, like bills that were late, food, clothing, and you guys get it. So that's where I was at, and I'm not complaining about my life. We were very grateful. We made the best of everything we had, but I wanted more, for sure, for me and my family. And so this is where I was at when my wife actually found these products. And she actually found them at an expo and was introduced to these products and the people that were taking the products, and they were sharing their stories with her. And she was very impressed, and she grabbed me and pulled me over and said, I think this is the answer we're looking for. This is the solution. And I just was so skeptical. I was not in the right place at that time. And I took the guy's card and I said, if I want to do it, I'll call you. And I literally took his card and threw it away. I had no intentions of calling him. But it's interesting, though, at that time, I was on my diet and exercise program again, probably for about the 3rd or 4th time that I was really going for it. And I was athletic. I played baseball, football, wrestling. I took 2nd place in California as a junior in high school in wrestling. So I was really fit. And at 36 years old, I was about as far away from me, that physically fit person that I was mentally used to. I was about as far away from that as you could possibly be. Add the tired and the fatigue to that, and it just was not fun. But I was forcing myself through willpower to eliminate the junk food and go ahead and get back into eating healthy. And I've always supplemented. So I was literally eating oatmeal with just hot water in it, tuna right out of a can, salad with lemon squeezed over it, and other healthy things. And I eliminated the junk. And I was riding my bike to work and back. And it was 100 miles every 5 days. I would go over to the football stadium and run the steps. And I was also working out with weights. And I'd been doing that for about 2 months when my wife was actually introduced to these products at the expo. Well, I said no, and my wife entered a drawing and she won some products. So you guys, you never know how the answer is going to come. It's usually not in the way that we think it's going to come. We won the products. That's how I got introduced and how I got started on them. And the guy that got us started that we won them from, his name's Carl, he said, look, you're exercising like a maniac. Over 80% of your results comes from nutrition. And we're just not getting the minerals and the nutritionally dense nutrition in our food anymore. We have a lot of food in our country, but it's bankrupt of nutrition. So I want to show you how this system works. And I don't want you to think you're exercising all of a sudden kicked in. So don't exercise during the first program. And he said, I don't encourage that to other people, but I just want you to try it because you are exercising unlike anybody I've ever seen. So 25 days later, you guys, long story short, I released 27 pounds. That's my personal story with no exercise. My energy went through the roof. I started waking up before the alarm clock went off, and I got my life back. In fact, my wife said she got her husband back in the first week. I started exercising, and I continued to stay on the products. I love them. They were actually cheaper than what I was currently doing, supplementing. And so I was actually saving money using these products, but they tasted great, and the results were amazing. Took me back to my high school weight. I released 53 pounds in 8 weeks. It turned everybody's heads. And people were asking me, and I was getting the products from Carl and giving them to people at work. And I fell in love with helping people by, being the middleman and directing them towards these products. Well, it wasn't very long, and their friends and family were calling me, and it just kind of turned into something that I fell in love with. I became very passionate. So I kind of went from changing people's oil to changing their lives. And I love changing lives. It's much more satisfying. And in 2009, we were introduced to a geneticist, our company was, and our formulator. And this product resulted. And I want to really focus on this in the beginning here. This is a game changer. I would say it's the greatest discovery of our time. And it's literally turning back the clock in our cells. So although nutrition, you can see what a good synergistic program that's addressing all the issues can do. And I released a total of 53 pounds, and I've kept that off for 13 years now. And so, but adding this to my program, and it took me back to my junior and high school weight, and I watched myself physically transform and get younger and younger and younger, and feeling that way as well. And I'm, back to the weight I was when I wrestled as a junior at 16 years old, and I have more energy and more endurance and better recovery and stamina. And so I want to hold the magnifying glass over this and the science of what happened, what's happening in my body to literally have this transformation, kind of like Jimmy Smith, the 90-year-old. He looks younger at 90 than he did at 80. So our formulator, John Anderson, has been formulating nutritional products for over 40 years. He formulated for over 600 companies, over 2,500 different health products. And he came up with a proprietary way of formulating that really caused him to stand out and above the rest. He actually created the MREs for the military. And one of his frustrations was that the companies he formulated for would compromise the formulations that he submitted to them. And he said it was very frustrating. In fact, he said there wasn't one instance on a product that I submitted that they didn't change up the quality of the formulation. And he said it was frustrating because I knew the customer wasn't getting what they really could. So he decided to start his own company where he was formulator and it was his company. And because of his ability to formulate, each one of these, we call these the pillars of health. These are a few of the products in ISAGENIX, but they're really our core pillars. Because of John Anderson's ability to formulate, we could say that there's a Nobel Prize behind the science of each one of these products. So let's jump into the science of this. And, where I wanted to die and go to heaven, the reason was my thought process was I won't feel tired. I won't feel fatigued. I won't have the aches and pains. I'll just feel better when I die. But I actually feel better than I ever thought I could. And so it took me from this bottom step all the way to the top very quickly. And nutrition can do that when you get it right. And so I don't want to die to go to heaven anymore. I can't wait. But while I'm here, I feel great. I feel like heaven is on earth now. I just have this attitude and this vitality and this enthusiasm that just isn't going away. It's been over 13 years now. And I just love helping people to feel the same way. And when you have that kind of attitude and you just feel great because you're alive, and no matter what you're doing, you feel good, and you still have the challenges, but because you feel so good, those challenges are easier to get through. That's heaven on earth to me. So that's kind of been my mantra for the last several years, is bringing heaven to earth. And I know in meeting Alix that that's been her mantra too. I thought, wow, no coincidences. She literally had written on her whiteboard, bringing heaven to earth. So again, thank you for joining us. Now, let's go into the biology of this. Here's a human cell. The middle of every cell is called the nucleus, and the nucleus contains the chromosomes. And the chromosomes sit in the middle of the nucleus, and they contain our DNA. So you can see a chromosome stretched out right here. And these little steps, they look like steps in a ladder. That's our DNA. And where the colors come together, that's called a nucleic bond. And the telomere is being represented by the red here on the chromosomes, being depicted in red. Well, what that telomere's role is it's holding those nucleic bonds together in the DNA so that they don't fray, they don't come apart. And so I made up this little rope with red electrical tape, and to show you what's happening, why we're why we experience aging and the degenerative processes, is because that telomere is being compromised. The body's ability to heal that telomere is being suppressed, and we're suppressing it more than we ever have, and we're actually throwing things into the body that's actually destroying the telomere faster and faster. So as that telomere gets shorter and shorter and shorter, you can see this fraying process that's happening. That's these nucleic bonds separating, and we're losing DNA in our cells. That would be like losing software in a computer. When you lose a little bit of software, you have some glitches that are going on. But as you lose more and more software, it becomes really annoying. As the software continues to be damaged and corrupted, when it gets to a certain point, the computer won't even turn on anymore. Well, it's the same thing with the DNA. If you parallel it with software, as the telomere gets shorter and shorter, when it gets to a certain length, we've lost enough DNA that the cells shut down. That's called senescence, death of the cell. We've lost so much DNA that there's not even a communication process anymore. And you would die of a degenerative disease at that point because that organ's going to stop functioning. So they've linked every symptom of aging and every degenerative disease to that process. That's awarded the Nobel Prize just recently in 2009. And most people don't even know they have a telomere. And a lot of doctors don't even know what a telomere is, yet that's where the problem is originating. Some of the things that we could say are attached to the telomere shortening would be like cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, loss of vision, loss of hearing, not just vision either. It'd be like macular degeneration, stigmatisms, anything that's causing the body to malfunction. Could be thyroid disease, kidney disease, cardiovascular issues, pulmonary issues, skin issues, bones, osteoporosis, MS, Parkinson's, lupus, thyroid, any of them. Even when your fingers start to split and they don't heal up and it's very painful, that's a telomere issue. Needing a knee replacement or a hip replacement, that's a telomere issue. So the shorter the telomere, the more problems we're going to have with our health. And if that's in an organ where we reach senescence that's keeping us alive, like let's say your cardiovascular system, you will die of a degenerative disease. And guess what? We're getting there faster than we ever have. It was on the front page of USA Today in April 2012. Pre-teenagers, their telomeres are 10 years shorter than they used to be just in recent decades because of the suppression and also because of the processed foods that we're eating that has trans fats in them. Trans fats actually shorten your telomeres faster. So because they're shortening their telomeres faster, they're going to get to senescence faster. And in a whole nother article, not even related to telomeres, that didn't even come up in the article, it was the Surgeon General. It said, this generation of children that are being born today won't live as long as their parents. The lifespan's going backwards now. Well, that's because we're getting to senescence faster. And there's something we can do about it. And that's another reason why I really love sharing this information. I was mentored by Bill Andrews, the geneticist, and he's being featured in Popular Science here because of his discovery. I think all of us believe that and understand that the body has an innate ability to heal itself. If we get cut, our skin's going to heal itself. If we break a bone, the bone cells are going to communicate and they're going to heal themselves. So Bill Andrews knew that the chromosome could actually repair this damage. There's an innate ability within the chromosome itself. It produces an enzyme called telomerase. And he was the first one to identify that process within the chromosome. So what does telomerase do? It actually repairs the damage to the DNA and the telomere. And so whatever results came from the damaged DNA would be reversed. And what their theory was at this point is somebody who was 75, 80 years old, if you could restore all the DNA that's damaged, they would go back to their mid-20s physically. So that was a theory that they had. But as Bill Andrews continued to do his research, he invented the equipment. He was able to take aged skin cells, human skin cells, that were aged and degenerated, and they were able to activate this gene and repair the damage in those skin cells. And so the skin cells actually got younger and younger instead of older and older the longer they were alive. And so that was a huge breakthrough. He got Inventor of the Year runner-up for accomplishing that. And it caught the attention of Harvard. And Harvard was able to do that in mice. And that's where telomeres and telomerase really got to become more known than it already was. So I just want to share a little video here. This is me and Bill Andrews. And this is about 7 years ago. And again, I was mentored by Bill. And I was so fascinated by this and found that this information was so important that I put together this presentation. And Bill said, this is the best presentation I've ever seen, Dave. You've taken something really complicated or really hard to understand research and made it easy for everybody to understand. And so as I started taking this information to the public, I had him make this little video with me just to endorse that what I was saying. And Bill and I have lectured together. And so here's the little video.
Dave MacArthur.
I'm Bill Andrews.
And I wanted to introduce this video to you. I've collaborated with Bill Andrews and been lecturing around the country about his research in Product B. And Bill Andrews actually discovered the human telomerase gene back in 1994. He was featured in Popular Science as the man who would stop time. So Bill, what would you like to say?
Well, I've listened to Dave speak many times on Product B, and I endorse everything he has to say. So I invite you to come listen to Dave MacArthur speak about Product B.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's one of the world's leading researchers, if not the leading researcher, and it just adds the credibility. This is not over hyped up enthusiastic claims. This is all science that I'm sharing with you. And so what a great way to be able to share this with others with Bill's endorsement. So just in recapping, as the chromosomes get shorter and shorter via the telomere, you're damaging more and more DNA, which leads to more and more symptoms of aging in the degenerative process. So if this guy right here, let's just pick a number, let's say he's 80 years old, and this is where his telomeres would be, somewhere down here. If somehow in all of his cells, the skin, hair, eyes, organs, and bones, could reverse the chromosomes back to this, they're saying he would go back to what he looked like in his mid-20s, and he literally would be functioning like that as well. So more than a decade later, Bill Andrews and his research team, up to 40 researchers in his lab, focusing on nothing but this, no distractions. They invented the equipment and started working with the skin cells like I was talking about. Well, they tested over 304,000 compounds in those skin cells with the equipment that they have. And they found 8 things that actually would grow the telomere back and support telomerase, but they were all too toxic. They couldn't find anything holistic, nothing natural from a botanical. So they turned to chemicals and drugs, and the things that worked were actually very harsh chemicals. And so they couldn't be consumed by humans. But they actually showed that when you activate telomerase, it will repair the telomere and the DNA. Where this really, like I said, took off is when Harvard was able to do it in mice. And here's ABC News reporting on that.
And now, eternal youth. Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
I feel tremendous.
In the Moody Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosome, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding, but the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size.
So this is where the Nobel Prize was awarded, because it was mice. Mice are mammals, just like us. We're mammals. It wasn't a petri dish. And when they activated this enzyme, they saw everything restored back to its youthful nature within the living mammal. Their skin, their hair, their eyes, their organs, their bones, their bones grew back, you guys, without even changing their diet. When they activated the gene, they saw the DNA repair in all of the cells, which was happening in the nucleus. When that gene expression changed, so did the physical cells. Even with their brain and the functioning of their brain and actual size of their brain. This is before and this is after. They didn't have Alzheimer's anymore. They were passing the test with flying colors. Their cardiovascular system was restored. Their glucose levels leveled out. They became more active. So like Dr. DeFino said, it was a remarkable reversal of the aging process. So it's not science fiction. We can see the innate ability of the body to want to thrive. It's just that we're suppressing that. We're suppressing it more than we ever have. And there's never really been any nutrition that's been found to induce telomerase to repair, but we're going the wrong way as, a society where we're actually shortening the telomere faster and suppressing the telomerase even more than we ever have. So this is where it gets exciting, and this is where I got involved with Bill Andrews. This is John Anderson, the founder and formulator of ISAGENIX, and he's the one that's been formulating for over 40 years, over 600 companies. So he started his own company in 2002. Peter Greenlaw's life was changed, just like mine, with John's products. And so he became an advocate and full-time associate with ISAGENIX. He owned a cabinet shop when he had lost his health. And he was introduced to Bill Andrews and what Bill Andrews' research and science was. And as he saw the struggle that Bill was having to find compounds, Peter immediately thinks, well, I need to introduce you to John Anderson. John Anderson's a genius when it comes to formulating with botanicals. And he came up with a proprietary way of formulating that nobody else knows how to duplicate. And so immediately Peter thinks, well, he'll try natural ingredients in a way that you've never tried because nobody knows how to formulate like John does. And so they're recognizing Peter for getting science to meet wellness. This was a big deal. And it wasn't easy for Peter to do that. When when John was introduced to Bill and he started learning about telomeres and telomerase and the role that they played, John said, wow, this is why I was born. I think that everything I've learned has led up to this point. I would have formulated for telomeres a long time ago had I known all this about them. And I feel very optimistic. So there was an actual contract that was written up between Bill and John. And John started sending formulations over to Bill's lab to test them with their equipment in the human skin cells. And this is what Bill says about that in a documentary about John sending those formulations over.
We'd seen for natural products, and we were pretty excited. It was the 11th compound we tested out of the first 15 samples that John Anderson sent us, and it was a hit. So we use the term hit in science a lot. So when we screen a lot of samples, we'll screen like thousands of samples at a time. But, I have to confess, at first we thought, wow, was he extremely lucky? Because we thought, how could he only be asking us to screen 15 samples? After screening thousands without a hit, we need a lot more samples than 15 if we're expecting to get a hit. We got a hit. So he sends us another 15, and we get another hit.
Okay, so just a quick recap on that. John sent 15 different formulations over to Bill's lab to test them in the human skin cells. And in the first 15, they got a hit. So a red line means they call it a hit, and that means that it's growing the telomere back in the human skin cells. It's repairing. It actually induced the telomerase, and the telomerase started repairing. Now, he says from that one hit, he was extremely lucky. I mean, we tried thousands with no hits. And then he sends another 15, and he gets another hit. In 120 attempts, they got those 7. And the longer the red line, the better. And remember, this is with natural ingredients. John doesn't work with chemicals. These are raw ingredients. And the first thing Bill wants to know is, well, how are you getting those raw ingredients to work? We tried them over here and they didn't work for us. And John said, that's going to remain proprietary. You see, companies like to compromise and they like to make more money and cheapen the products. We're not going to do that. This product's going to run exclusively through ISAGENIX. And we're not only going to maintain the quality and keep the price low, we're going to continue to improve this. And they ended up finding 12 hits. And then they released the product, and we started seeing results. I started experiencing results myself, but as I was a promoter of this, started seeing results that we had never seen from nutrition before. We were actually supporting the body on a foundational level that has never been supported in this way because of these two. And Bill Andrews says it's because of both of them. Without each of them, they wouldn't have been able to do this. And the product has gotten better. They had a second generation, which was improved. And then on the third generation, I got a call from Bill, and he said, Dave, get a little group together. I'm going to come talk to you guys. John did something that I said would be impossible to do from a natural botanical. He found 2 hits that went off the charts. And he said, you have no idea what's about to happen. And he was so excited. It was just so fun and exciting to be a part of this as it was all groundbreaking. And we're on 4th generation right now. It's all natural. I could flip that lid open with just my thumb now, which means a child can open it, which means it's safe. It's all natural. There's 120 vegan gel caps in there, and it has its own delivery system in it with the nutrients in the way that John put them together. And they're all listed on the back. And Bill Andrews said something that I thought was interesting. He said, you can take all of these ingredients that are on the back, go down to the vitamin store, buy them all at the highest quality, take them all every day, and you'll never get any hits. There's too many things that are negating. John and his extracts are different than the extracts that you're going to buy in the store. So this is what we've been on a mission, sharing this with people, sharing the science and how we can support our telomeres. Now, let me just share with you some of the observationals. The first story I'm going to start off with is with Bill and his wife, Molly. They're ultra marathon runners. And Molly ran a race 2 years before this product was developed, and it's called the Ultra the High. And it's in the Himalayas. It goes from 13,000 feet to 18,000, back to 14, back to 18, and back down, and it's 138 miles long. Now, as if that wasn't hard enough, they only give you 60 hours or less to complete the race. Only 6 people ever have. Well, she didn't make it, and she didn't get to the finish line. And then she got on this product 2 years later and said, I'm going to run that race again. And she's the first female and the 7th person to complete the race. She did it in 59 hours with no sleep, running straight for 59 hours. The following year, being on the product for a little over a year, Bill Andrews ran that race, and now he's the oldest person to do it. He said since taking the product, he's breaking records he set back when he was 40. One of them, the exact same race, he beat by 50 minutes. And I talked to him about that. I said, what's this doing? I experienced the same thing with my stamina. I was able to go from a 10-minute mile to a 7-minute and 30-second mile in just 5 days. And I've seen it with bike riders and all kinds of athletes. And he said, yeah, there's so many things that John's packed into this. Yes, we're supporting telomeres, but we're also removing things from the cells that this product does. And we're removing the interference with the mitochondria DNA, which is really allowing the cell to light up and give people more energy, more stamina. And I can't tell you the stories of people cleaning their houses and doing a clean job on their house that they haven't ever done. One person told me, I cleaned everything and I just wanted to keep cleaning, so I pulled the refrigerator out and cleaned out behind the refrigerator. So that's the support of the natural ability of the body to run optimally and thrive. And so I picked up motocross. I started feeling so young again. I hadn't ridden a dirt bike for 25 years. And so I thought, you know what, I'm feeling really good. Why don't I go buy a dirt bike and head out to the motocross track? I never rode on a motocross track. And I did. And I started outperforming teenagers. And, it was a lot of fun. You fall down a lot on a motocross track. And I actually shattered my leg. This leg right here was shattered in a pre-race day. And the doctor said it would take up to a year before I could stand on that leg with all of my weight. And he said I'd never run again. And I tried to tell him about the product and how it's helping the cells to communicate. And we're seeing recovery happen much faster with people and being very effective that way. And he wasn't really interested in it. So I just continued to take my product. I was in bed for 6 weeks. I was on the wheelchair for 2 weeks, and I was on the crutches for 2 weeks. So for 10 weeks, I was not on my feet. 2 weeks later, you guys, I ran stadiums. I was able to run the stadiums at 3 months total from the day of the accident. And there's no muscle atrophy with my calf muscle because my DNA was able to maintain its integrity and its structure or expression, and so was the muscle. I wasn't on my feet for 10 weeks. That's just 2 weeks later. So pretty phenomenal. We've seen that happen again and again for people to really support the body to heal itself as well. And the effectiveness that it does. I only went back to the doctor twice, and I didn't do any physical therapy or anything. I was back to riding the dirt bike in less than 5 months. So that's the miracle of the human body when you support it. Now, this is a fun picture here. This is Kathy, my friend Kathy, and we like to share before and after pictures. We have the best before and after pictures in ISAGENIX. And so Emily is showing Kathy's before and after picture. So I'll just ask you, how old do you think Kathy looks in this picture? Because Emily's friends don't believe that the person under this is her. And so Emily's eliciting help on Facebook. Who knows Kathy? So people start tagging Kathy to the comments, and Kathy comes in and says, hello, these pictures are in fact of me. This is at Fitness America in Las Vegas at 69 years old. I just turned 70 in May. And then Kathy tagged me to it, and that's how I saw this. And she said, I really do feel like I've been aging backwards. What else could I possibly give the credit to? Thank you, John Anderson and Bill Andrews. And this is Kathy at 70 years old right here. And I'm watching this happen. I'm watching it happen to me, my wife, even my kids that haven't taken on aging because they're younger, but their stamina and their endurance and all of that, even their mental faculties. So I'll get to that story in a little bit. I had a 92-year-old come up to me in Bend, Oregon, and she said, can I share my story with you before you get started? I said, sure. She said, well, I was in a full-time caregiver facility. I couldn't even take care of myself. I've been on your product for 4 months, and I got out of there 2 months ago, and I got my driver's license back 2 weeks ago. So think about the people that you know that would appreciate these stories, and then literally something that could help them to experience the same thing. This is Karen, and Malcolm, who's on this presentation right now, actually shared it with Karen. She came to a meeting that I did. This is the Thursday night that I did it. Karen had been homebound for 3 years. And Malcolm didn't know that. He hadn't talked to her for like 9 years, but he invited her to the meeting because he was coming into town. And so she came. She loved the presentation, but she said that she had already submitted the funeral home paperwork. She was supposed to die in October, and she had kept herself alive, but she'd been homebound for 3 months. So she got on the product that night. She found somebody who had some product there and bought some pills from her. Said, I'm going to get started. I'm ordering the product, but I want to get started tonight. This is her 2 days later. This is her 3 days later. She could not believe it. She was blowing up Malcolm's phone with text. And so we invited her to our company event, which here she is 3 days later at the company event. And she bought more of the products, these pillars of health that I'll talk about in a second here. And this is her a month later. This is her 2 months later. She's back to riding horses and just a totally normal life. In fact, the funeral home called in October. Her daughter, or in December, her daughter answered it, and they said, where's Karen's body? You know, we were expecting her by now. Did she go to another funeral home? And her daughter said, well, she's actually in the kitchen right here baking cookies. She decided to live. And this is Karen on Facebook and just totally living a normal life now. And she shared the products with a lot of people and has really made a big impact in some of those people's lives. This is Dick Sauder. I did a meeting at a dentist office in Wisconsin that Amy came to, and this is her father-in-law. So Amy got her father-in-law on it at 82 years old, and his mind was really starting to slip, and so they were really concerned. And so he's 82 right here. He's 83 here after getting started on the products. He's 85 here, and he's 87 right here. Dick is literally working out. He drives on his own. He lives on his own. He came to one of our team parties in Nashville, and he was doing push-ups, and just it's amazing to see, you know, the ability of the body to turn things around. And Dick has truly been a testimony of that for so many other people. I was at this farm home here in Winthrop, Minnesota, and I was there when we took this picture. This is Liddy's mother, and she's 80 years old, and she's laying down flat, so you can see that her back is really bent over. And she was so hunched over that it forced her chin into her chest, and she couldn't stand up straight. This is Minnie 5 months later, normal conversations. And she's 80 right here. She's 83 right here, and you can see her chin. She started walking straight up and down and normal conversations and just phenomenal results. This is Bob Sheridan. He's known as the Colonel in the boxing community. He's a boxing announcer. In fact, he's in the Boxing Hall of Fame for announcing more title bouts by a long shot than anybody. And the hospital sent him home in 2011, said, we can't do anything for you. Your heart's too weak. We can't even do the surgery. You would die on the table. We can't even put a pacemaker in because your heart is too weak. You're below the threshold. And so my friends Dennis and Sharon Allen, who know Bob, put him on the product, and this is him 7 months later. He went back to work. This is an interview by Fight News, and they were completely, amazed at, in fact, in the article, they said, Bob, you were just in the hospital. We thought we were going to lose you. You look great, and you're back to announcing. What happened? And he lists everything that happened for him. He said, my wife, Annie, she got me on this product called Product B and works on a cellular level. And then he lists everything that's happened for him. And his heart went back into the normal range. And it used to be called Product B. So if you're getting a little bit confused by that, they dropped the Product B, and it's just called ISAGENIX now. And here's Bob at 72 years old, sitting at home in his recliner. They just interviewed him again not too long ago at 77 years old, and they said, Bob, how you doing? You're still announcing fights. He said, I feel like I've been announcing for another 20 years. And I like to show this picture, my 2 kids, and this is Jennifer Trinkner. You don't have to be old and nearly dead to want to take this product. Everybody's telomeres are shortening. And in fact, you're born already in the deficit. You've already lost a third of your telomere before you're even born. That's how bad it is, you guys. And so I put my daughter, as a parent, it says 18 and older on the bottle, but as a parent, I decided I'm going to put my kids on it. And my daughter was a dancer, or she is a dancer, and she started at about 4 years old. And I put her on it at about 11, 12 years old. And she was dancing 6 hours a night, every night, Monday through Friday. She loves dancing. And the first day I gave it to her, she came home and she said, "Dad, we do our hardest workout every Wednesday. And I don't even feel like we did the workout. Was that product you gave me?" And I said, "Yeah, keep taking it." And 3 days later, she said, "Dad, everybody's asking me what I'm on." And it's because of her endurance and her stamina and her just ability mentally, that mental endurance as well, to just function at a high level and not wear out. And 3 weeks later, the owner of the studio and the instructor got on the product. We put my son on it, and he was in 3rd grade at the time. And 3 days later, the teacher called my wife and asked, "What did we do to Carter? What's he on?" Because his behavior has completely changed. He's not bursting out. He's not interrupting. He's like my model student now. And we just told her that we put him on a supplement. And we noticed it as well. This is Carter at 14 now, taking his shake in the morning, and there's the ISAGENIX. Jennifer Trinkner, she took first place Miss Bikini America at 46 years old. She loves this product. She's on a podcast with ISAGENIX, and she's a full-time associate now. And she says, "I love this product, ISAGENIX, and what it does for me." So she took first place at 46 years old up against 20-year-olds. And then this is Benny. Benny had some trauma, and his motor skills went away. His arm was stuck for 3 years in a 90-degree angle. He couldn't move it, and he lost his speech as well. And after three weeks of being on the product.
And then check the strength. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow, Benny.
Look at how relaxed his arm is. Watch, just put your arm.
Nice.
What the heck?
Yeah, that was after 3 weeks. Well, now he's back to playing the piano, and he's speaking sentences now. So that was actually something that happened from trauma. Again, we're just supporting the body. We're not making claims around curing anything. We're just supporting the body. Anything that's living wants to thrive, and every living thing has built within it an innate ability to heal itself and to keep it running and thriving. It's just that there's a factor in that, and it's us. What are we putting in the body to support those systems? And this is a game changer, you guys. Dr. Gabriel Cousin's been an MD for over 40 years. He got on the product. Immediately, he got on the phone with me after 2 weeks, and he's demanded to talk to Bill and John, which I arranged that. It was a 4-hour phone call, and it went till 1 o'clock in the morning. And he says, in my 40 years of being an MD, and he's a raw food advocate as well, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, he said, "I've never experienced anything like this. Is it okay if I write a newsletter about this and get it out to my subscribers?" There's over 25,000 of them. And he said, "This is the breakthrough into a whole new era." And he's absolutely right. So long telomeres versus short telomeres. I think you guys get the picture now, and you understand more about the science of aging than 99.9% of the world. I mean, I've lectured at doctor symposiums, pharmacists, all over the world. And nobody knows about telomeres, and that there's an asset for telomeres now. See, what's happening is everybody's telomeres are getting shorter. That's a principle of health that you've just learned, and I'm passing it on to you, right? This is, again, Nobel Prize winning research. Some of the information I'm sharing with you, we're pioneering it. It's not even being taught because of where we're at in this process. But everybody's telomeres are getting shorter, and that's a principle of health. But there's something you can do about it now. We have an asset that helps to support our telomeres and that fundamental, foundational, innate ability of the body to heal itself on that level. And it's a big deal, you guys. Now, I just want to finish up talking about a few of these other pillars of health in ISAGENIX. And, going back to the cells of the body, when we eat food, we are what we eat, right? And so at every meal, we need to have 90 nutrients going into our body. And not just going into our body, they need to be assimilated. And Food Matters, which is a documentary I highly recommend, they said you can't get it from your produce anymore. Even organic, you guys, there's so many studies out there now that show that organic doesn't have any more minerals in it than regular fruits and vegetables that are being sprayed with pesticides. So what do? Well, you need to supplement. That's what Food Matters says. You've got to supplement. But then supplements, there's no integrity there in most cases. I've seen so many studies on supplements. It's just sad. The last one I saw was bogus supplements. They had a lot of different supplements tested by a lab, and none of them had what they said were in it. And here you have John Anderson saying, look, I formulated over 2,500 different supplements, and none of the companies formulated them with integrity the way I submitted the formulation. They all compromised the quality. They would put in cheaper ingredients, cheap fillers, inorganic minerals versus organic, which means they're not going to be absorbed. And so these nutrients are missing. We have a lot of food, but they're incomplete. They don't have the nutrients in them. Out of the 90 nutrients, 60 of them are minerals. So if you look at this study by UCLA on spinach and the mineral content of iron, one bowl of spinach used to give you enough iron for a week. In 2007, you need 51 bowls of spinach to get the same amount of iron that used to be in one. That's from UCLA, guys. This is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture in 1997. It's showing the decline of minerals in our soils. It's because the pesticides and the herbicides and the insecticides, those are poisons. They kill those things, right? Well, as you continue to spray, it saturates the soil and it kills the bacteria, the living organisms in the soil. What those organisms do, that bacteria, it breaks down the rock minerals and turns them into water-soluble minerals. That way, when we grow the fruits, vegetables, and grains, the roots can reach down in and suck up those water-soluble minerals, otherwise called as organic minerals versus inorganic, which is a rock form. Well, if you kill the bacteria, there's not going to be any more rocks being broken down to organic mineral, water-soluble minerals. And so as you continue to grow over the years, you're pulling the minerals out of the soil, but they're not being replaced because the soil's been sterilized. And as a result, this is the diseases that have been increasing in human beings. So we kind of made a science out of killing ourselves. Dr. Linus Pauling has 48 PhDs and 2 Nobel Prizes. And he said, every sickness and disease can be traced back to a mineral deficiency in the human body. Guess what John Anderson's name is, our formulator? The Mineral Man. That's his nickname by his colleagues because of his ability to find the minerals and also formulate them so they get absorbed and they work. This is Senate Document 264 that says nobody can eat enough fruits, vegetables, and grains to supply their bodies with the minerals it requires for perfect health because it's just not there anymore. So if we lived in a perfect world where the air, water, and food was all the way it should be, then we wouldn't be on this Zoom, this presentation. But it's not like that, you guys. The air's polluted, the water's polluted, the food's polluted, and it's minerally deficient. And if you Google the Dirty Dozen, it's going to give you the most toxic fruits and vegetables every year. Celery's always at the top. You got strawberries, apples, spinach and kale, collard greens, potatoes, lettuce. I mean, this is considered healthy stuff that people are eating to try and improve their health, and it's causing problems because it has so many different pesticides and herbicide chemicals in it. And then it's missing the minerals. You guys, this is why we're in a health crisis. We all agree that the body can heal itself, right? So why are we so sick? I'm giving you the reasons why we're so sick. This is the information that people don't know. And, education is like the most powerful tool that we have right now to help people to turn this around. So this is my mission, you guys. I believe this is the reason why I was born and why I suffered all the things I did to be as much of an advocate as I am because of the turnaround that I had with my health. Most people aren't eating the fruits and vegetables. Do you know there's a study out there that says 90% of Americans are eating 95% processed food? So not only do these not have the minerals and the nutrients in them, they have chemicals in them that are actually causing more problems. So you look at the alkalinity level. You have your pH balance. So you have acid down here and you have alkaline up here. This would be chlorine and bleach way up here at the top. And this would be battery acid down at the bottom. You want your pH to be 7.0 to 7.5. And you can measure your own pH with saliva strips. It turns a color and it tells you what number you are. 7.0 to 7.5 is homeostasis, meaning your body has all the minerals it needs to balance the body's pH out. When you drop below 7, you create an acidic environment in your body called acidosis. That's a diseased body. Your body's going to start leaching the minerals out of the bones and organs to try and get your pH back up because it's not getting them from you through your food. So you have things like osteoporosis happening where the body's leaching the calcium out of the bones to try and get your pH up. It's constantly doing that 24/7 when you're below 7. That's why children have osteoporosis now, because they're all below 7. So this is a food-related issue. Food Matters said good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars. There's people out there that are not teaching you about nutrition, but yet they're your healthcare provider, but they're not teaching you about nutrition because it doesn't make them a lot of dollars. So cancer can't exist in a body that's alkaline. It exists down here. So it's a food-related issue. Long story short, John Anderson created a food source. This is my food. So you got to look at it this way. It looks like a supplement. I guess we could call it a supplement, but John keeps things in its raw organic state. And he's figured out how to freeze dry digestive enzymes, and they're in the supplements. So not only are the nutrients in there, they're getting delivered to the cells. So you might want to learn this line here. You need to supplement first and then eat for pleasure. But when I say I'm supplementing, I actually know that I'm getting more nutrition from my ISAGENIX meal replacement shake than I'm going to get from any food out there, for sure. And the results that I have and that I'm feeling that I've been maintaining for 13 years now, and my kids and my wife and people I've shared it with, I have customers from 13 years ago that are still using these products. And it's cheaper than the food out there. It's less than $3 a meal. People, if you replace 2 meals a day, the average saving is $200 a month. So not only does it not cost you more, it's cheaper, and it's producing more health and vitality. It's allowing your body to thrive. There's over 240 nutrients in this shake. And we have whey-based protein and we have plant-based protein. And they're incredible, you guys. The clinical studies that have been done around these products, they're blowing their minds. They've never seen anything like it. This is my pH from doing those shakes every day. It's high 7s. I measured my son. He had been on the shakes since he was 2 years old. At 8 years old, his pH was just like mine. Guess where his friend was that isn't doing the shakes? 6.2, down here in the acidosis level, acidic environment. So this becomes a very healthy, very tasty. They're so good. They're delicious. It becomes a very great lifestyle that really supports the person to live their best life when it comes to their mental clarity, their stamina. Another product here is the Nutritional Cellular Cleanse. And it's addressing the toxicity that is getting into the body, which shouldn't be. Your body should be eliminating them through the colon or through the urination process or the kidney and the liver, but it's not working because we're undernourished. So those systems are not working and toxins are building up in the body. It's so bad that a pregnant mother, they never find less than 300 chemicals in a newborn baby's umbilical cord blood, which means that it's in the baby as well. 300 chemicals, you guys imagine that. So what the body does is it has a protective mechanism, fat cells. And you're going to die with basically the same amount of fat cells that you have by the time you've developed as a baby. And they just get bigger and smaller. So the more toxins that get into your body's going to put fat into those fat cells and blow them up so that it can hold the toxins in the fat cells and just kind of quagmire them. So here's Newsweek magazine showing a picture of that. This is a fat cell and there's a toxin. So when we go on a diet, we shrink our fat cells, which releases those toxins into the cardiovessels. So where they were in the fat cells, now they're roaming around in your cardiovessels, feeding your organs. And your body knows that, and it kicks in a mechanism. It tells the body to create more fat so that it can blow those fat cells back up. And you'll hit a plateau when you're in this mode right here. Once you release enough toxins, you won't lose any more fat. For some people, that might be 5 pounds. For some, it might be 25, 50, 100, but they still need to lose more weight. But because they've released so many toxins, they hit the plateau and you won't lose any more weight. That's where I was at when we were introduced to ISAGENIX. So on my diet, I would eventually give up, eat the Snickers bar, and it would allow my fat cells to be blown back up and the toxins would be put back in the fat cells. So again, I was at this plateau when we were introduced to ISAGENIX. And I did a full body nutritional cellular cleanse. This is a nutritional cellular cleanse that John Anderson put together. It's full of botanicals that support the organs to get the toxins out of the body. And they're called chelators. there's over 100 active ingredients in it. So on a cleanse day, I'm going to do 4 ounces 4 times, half of this bottle. And I'm going to drink a lot of water during the day. I'm going to take some other little supplements that come with the program for a cleanse day. But I'm not going to eat food. I'm going to rest my body. It's like an intermittent, nutritionally supported fast. But I'm not going to put the body into digestive mode. So I'm not going to eat food and I'm not going to drink my shakes. And I love it. I can't fast. It's very difficult. My blood sugar drops and I'm hypoglycemic, but I can do a cleanse day. In fact, I did 2 days in a row. And on the first day, as I did this cleanse, it removed the impurities from the body through the urination process. I released 5 pounds my first day at a plateau with no exercise. I did a cleanse day again. I did 2 days in a row, and that's the most you can do as a 48-hour. And I released 12 pounds in 2 days, 27 pounds in 25 days, and 53 pounds in 8 weeks. And then I didn't need to lose any more weight. But I continue to cleanse because toxins are always building up in the body. So I cleanse at least once a week. The minimum you would want to do when you reach your health goal is 2 days a month. So it's become a great way for me to be able to enjoy life. I'm not on a diet. I'm just putting the right things into my body to support health and fitness. And I can eat regular food and I can indulge if I want, but I don't indulge like I used to because I lost the cravings because my body's alkaline. Acidic bodies crave acidic food like ice cream and coffee and soda and processed foods. When you get your body alkaline, your appetite changes. And I haven't had a soda, coffee, or Rockstar energy drink in 13 years. And then the third pillar I'm going to talk about is the ISAGENIX Supreme. You take 1 to 2 ounces of this every day. This has over 100 active ingredients that go above and beyond the nutrients we should be getting from our food. This is really like a superhero type of supplement. They actually nicknamed it the stress reducer because of how it supports the body and the hormones as well. A lot of Olympic athletes love this product because of the endurance, both mentally and physically. And these are just some of the things that it talks about on the website and that are in this one bottle. And here's my family with my grandkids. This is London. She's going for her second shake of the day that morning. They do 2 shakes a day already, but she's doing her second shake because she saw mom drinking one. They love the shakes. Their bodies are literally craving it. London, this is London, both of these pictures, and she's been drinking it since she was young, and here she is at almost 3 years old. They gave her some candy, and she spit it out and said caca because it was acidic, and her body doesn't want acidic things because it's alkaline. And so it's much different because the body's not controlling you and your appetite. This is my son again before school, my wife, my daughter, and my daughter, that's a dancer, and this is my daughter here with her husband and their 3 kids, and Curtis and Sebastiana. This is another kid on Facebook, on Dr. C.V. Hessel's Facebook group.
Is that a good shake?
They love the shakes, and they crave them. And they're super healthy for them. In fact, OBGYNs are encouraging pregnant mothers to drink the shakes while they're pregnant because they're seeing the healthiest babies in umbilical and placentas. This kid right here, this is Liddy's grandson. He's 3 years old, and nobody was making him a shake. He was asking for a shake, so he took matters into his own hands, went and grabbed the canister and started eating the powder from the shake. So just showing you here that it tastes great, but it's super healthy for you. You don't have to make your kids sit down at the table until they eat all their vegetables. They're going to get all of the nutrients that they need from the shake, and they're going to love it, and they're going to want more. And you don't get tired of it. I crave it like I used to crave ice cream. But I don't crave ice cream anymore. I crave the shakes. And that's the same way it is for kids. So it's not just like they like them for a short time and then they don't want it anymore. They continually crave it. And it's not a diet. We wouldn't put our grandkids on a diet. It's a healthy lifestyle. So you're looking at Nancy at 70 years old. She got on ISAGENIX, and now she wants to do a fitness competition. This is her right here at almost 70 years old. After her 3rd child, she couldn't lose the weight. Somebody shared ISAGENIX with her, and she actually started sharing proactively. She stay-at-home mom, and she became a millionaire in the company. This gal, she got in People magazine, she released over 100 pounds in less than a year, no hanging skin, This is my buddy Spencer. I like this one here because it shows the body transformation in 90 days, but look at the transformation mentally. That's brain chemistry. And when you give your body the proper nutrition, it'll actually produce the serotonin and oxytocin, dopamine, like it's supposed to. And Everett and Chase, they couldn't gain weight. Chase put on 15 pounds, but he lost 5% body fat at the same time through the cleansing. That's toxic fat right there. But Everett, he lives in my hometown. He's 82 years old, and he gained 14 pounds in 30 days using the same products. He was only 112 pounds when he started. So he really appreciated the results that he got. This is my friend Jill Berth, 131 pounds in 12 months, no hanging skin. Jeff Beebe at 55. This is her in People Magazine. And this is January 2018 People Magazine. Talks about her using ISAGENIX, and she released 439 pounds. And this is a more recent picture of her, you guys. How amazing is that? When we support the body on this level, the body can actually, rejuvenate on a level that we've never seen before. There's also performance packs where you can produce athletic results, like Jennifer Trinkner and Lori Harder. She took Miss Universe, and all of these women, a lot of them have never even done figure competition before, but they're getting in such great shape that they're encouraged and get the confidence, and they're actually winning. And these guys right here, they're brothers, 3 brothers, and shows their before and afters. And I would say that these are pretty similar results in ISAGENIX. If you really get after it, use the products like you're supposed to, watch what you eat when you're not eating ISAGENIX, and you're working out and diligent, these kind of results all day long, you guys. So clinical studies, it's not hype. There's clinicals behind it that actually ended up in peer-reviewed medical journals like PubMed, and it just goes on and on. So there's our pillars of health. And I just want to share with you, along with Alix, and let me just pull up this slide here. Make sure I get on the right one. There we go. How you can get in as you're introduced to these products and you're looking for solutions, which way to get started. We just recommend you get back with the person that got you here. And there's a lot of different ways to get started. You can buy products a la carte. You can buy 1 bottle of ISAGENIX. And I would just say about the ISAGENIX, it's the single greatest one thing that anybody can put in their body and get the profound results that we are from that one thing. But as you add these pillars of health to your lifestyle, it just gets better and better. So there's a lot of different ways to get started, a lot of different packs. There's the Total Health and Aging pack. That's a really great pack right there, along with the Healthy Aging pack. So Alix, I just want to have you come on and maybe talk a little bit about, how you've been helping get people started and some of the things that you've been doing. And then we'll start finishing up. Let me unmute you here.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Okay, great. Because this is my headphones. This might die in a second. But yeah, I just want to say this is so exciting. And in fact, I couldn't keep this information to myself. I immediately wanted to get on these products. And being a health and nutrition nut, I really didn't expect the kind of turnaround in such a short period of time. So without getting all into my results, I have to say that I started with a pack with 2 shakes a day, and with the ISAGENIX Supreme to start my day to really balance out that stress and anxiety and hormones. And I do a cleanse a week. And most all of the people that I've shared this product with, they get started on that. It's just the best type of result. And I'll never, ever get off the ISAGENIX, that product B. I'm calling it that now too. That ISAGENIX and the shake a day, I'll tell you what, at the base minimum, that will always be in my body. But yeah, these are just amazing packs. And do you want me to, give a little pause here, make a transition, Dave?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So get back with the person who invited you to this, whether it's a recording or that you're here live. Put these products in your body if you can, at any cost that you can, and feel them. And I just want you to know that they are 100% guaranteed in terms of, if you don't love how you feel, you've got 30 days, you can get your money back. It is absolutely risk-free, and it really works out fast. So I encourage it. So if you want to get back with them, please do. And I'm going to take a little transition here, ask you to just take a deep breath in, take in what you just learned, send a virtual thank you to that person who invited you to be here. And if you're like me, you thought of a slew of people and you might want to share this with a few of them. And of course, if money is a barrier, we can't let that be a case for you. So we're going to transition now into just a little peek into how you can get your products paid for. What does that really look like? And I have to just say that if you decide to do this, even just for 30 days, and you grab a couple of buddies to do this with you, we're talking about accountability, doing this with other people, having that result together, and also, again, making a difference in how much this is going to cost for you. And it just goes on from there. You know, it's happy customers that share these products. And so you got to know they work. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dave. He's going to walk through a little bit about that. And then, of course, we've got lots more information if you want that later on. Okay, thanks so much. And if I can't come back on with voice here, Dave, you'll just have to close out the call.
Close this out. Okay, so perfect.
All right.
Yeah. And so if you want to jump off now, we don't want to, make you stay on here. So if you need to jump off.
Oh, no, I'm going to still watch on the computer. It's just my voice might go. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Here we go. Let me get to this slide that we need. And I'll go right here. The thing that I want people to really understand is that it really is about our health. That's the number one priority. That's the thing that I love and that I always lead with. I had no interest in a business. I didn't even understand what a business meant with this back when I was mechanicking. I was just so happy that I got my health back. But it did evolve into a business for me. And now I would say I am absolutely passionate about this business because it really allows people to move forward in their lives with no limits. Like there's no roof, there's no ceiling as to what's possible when you get into a culture and an environment like this that supports the individual. So let me just go into getting started. There's a membership, it's $29, so kind of like a Costco membership. Think of it that way. Everybody comes in as a customer. And that allows you to buy the products at wholesale. So any one of you that actually gets signed up and you go and buy, let's just say a bottle of ISAGENIX, you're immediately going to get that bottle of ISAGENIX the same price that I paid for my bottle. And I really like that about the company. To me, that speaks volumes of integrity. And what they understand is they don't need to front load you and try and get you to buy as much products up front, because you're probably not going to buy any more products after that. And they want to get as much out of you as they can. See, we don't think that way because we know you're going to look different and feel different after you get these products in your body, and you're going to want to buy them naturally. It's just an organic process that happens with ISAGENIX because the products are so phenomenal. So after I had gotten a few people on it at work and their friends and family started calling me, that's when I finally went to the meeting to really learn what was this about? Why are these products working the way they are? And I learned about the business. I said, look, I do want to do this. I want to start sharing this proactively and see if I can earn some income. And so what do I need to buy? I literally thought I was going to need to pull the credit card out and get some inventory and then have to, sell that product, which I didn't have any problem with that. I loved the product. So what they told me though was pretty profound. They said, Dave, you're going to impact other people's lives without having to spend any money extra. You are already qualified. It's called 100 BV. It stands for business volume. So just to give you guys an example of that, 2 bottles of ISAGENIX, if I ordered just that every month, that's over 100 in business volume. It's actually 103 in business volume. That would be enough for me and my wife. But look, I love the shakes. I do 2 shakes a day. I've been doing them for 13 years. That's more than 100 BV. And they said that. They said, Dave, you're already ordering more than double what you need to be ordering between you and your wife to be active. So what you need to do is you need to sponsor 2 people, Dave. You need to enroll 2 people as customers. And if they'll order a minimum order of 100 BV, then that will move you from customer to consultant. Doesn't mean you're going to do a business. It's just a rank distinction that says you're going to get paid 6% from the company on every order that's placed in your organization on unlimited depth. There's no levels in ISAGENIX. There's just a left team and a right team, and you get paid on everybody, no matter who brings them in. So once you're a consultant, if things continue to grow on both of those legs, you would make more and more money, even though you're just a consultant. In fact, I'll share this with you. I hit number 13 income earner in the company as a consultant, just having reached the rank of consultant. Number 13 in the entire company. So that's very powerful business model that's easy for people to at least start getting their products paid for. You don't have to go out and sign up a bunch of friends and family to start getting paid from ISAGENIX. So you could get your products paid for if that's what you desire to do. If you want to get your cell phone paid, you might share with a few more people, or start building a team around it, get your car payment paid for, or maybe that vacation that you want to take. I mean, whatever it is, whatever the dreams are that you have not yet realized because you've been limited on your income. This is a great way to do that in the pockets of your free time. You're just going to share your results. You don't sell products because you don't have any inventory. Share your results and the results that others are having, and see if that's a fit for people that you know. So as you do that, and again, it doesn't even threaten anything that you're currently doing. You're just going to do it on your free time. That's what I did. So let's just use Cindy as an example. Cindy Talley, she's a home health nurse for 28 years. And she was always she's entrepreneurial. She always had some kind of business on the side that she was trying to make extra income for, put her kids through college and to take vacations and things like that she wanted. But she never really found anything that really worked for her. In fact, she had been in another business that she had for 14 years, and she never made more than $1,400 in a month. But that's an extra $1,400. I mean, what would that do for you? But it wasn't what she was wanting. It helped, but she wanted much more than that. So Cindy got involved with ISAGENIX. She was enrolled by a couple named John and Kathy. And John and Kathy are on my left team. So when John and Kathy enrolled Cindy, the products that Cindy ordered, I got paid 6% on the business volume that were associated with the products that she ordered. I didn't have anything to do with Cindy being enrolled. John and Kathy enrolled her. And so that's leverage. I didn't have to work for that. I didn't have to trade any time to get that kind of money. That was passive leverage. And that's what wealthy people do to create that unlimited incomes that they make, and they go into the top 5%. Now, Cindy loved the products. She had amazing results, especially with her neck. She had some trauma where she couldn't get the movement back in her neck as a teenager. So she's been carrying that for decades. And that went away for her, and a lot of other things too. She talked about her hormones being balanced out. And she just really loved the products. She lost some extra weight. She didn't really need to lose that much, but I guess everybody wants to lose some, right? And so she said, I'm going to become a consultant. And she enrolled 2 people. When she enrolled those 2 people, I got paid 6% on that business volume. So did she, and so did John and Kathy. ISAGENIX pays that to everybody. How they even do that, you guys? Well, that's a deeper training that we can go through, but we've never changed the compensation plan, not in 17 years. And we've created 278 millionaires now. Me and my wife are the 69th. So in 1 year's time, Cindy enrolled 25 people. And Malcolm, who's on this presentation, he actually was enrolled by Cindy. Here he is on the ski lifts. He's a skier, and he is shutting down the lifts now, where he used to quit at 1:30, 2 o'clock. He can close down the lifts on the ski slopes. So she enrolled 25 people in a year's time, but she had 950 in her group that she was getting paid on. And John and Kathy were getting paid on that, and so was I, all 950. But that was enough to where she was about $1,000 a week. It's been just 2 years now, and Cindy gave her letter of resignation and quit being a home health nurse and is doing ISAGENIX full time now. You see, if everybody just shared it with 2 people, you can kind of see the progression at the power of 2 here. 2 share it with 2, who share it with 2. Well, that 6% with 100 BV, let's say everybody here is ordering 2 bottles of ISAGENIX, that would be over $50,000 a month for the person at the top, this person right here. And everybody all the way down through is going to be making some income because they're all consultants. Now, that's never going to happen perfectly, but in our compensation plan, it could. It would literally pay out like that because they pay on unlimited depth once you're a consultant. So that's a very powerful business model, and it's because of the generosity of the company. And it's not when you get in ISAGENIX, it's when ISAGENIX gets in you. It's when you hear these founders of the company and what their heart is and what's driving them. They said, look, if it's not right for the associates and the customers, it's not right for the company. We want to create a safe place. We want to create a home. We want to create a legacy company where we can literally transform people's lives and transform the world. And so it's through their generosity that we're able to experience this income generating compensation plan. And so here I was, really struggling financially. I got my health back, still struggling financially, however, but I felt better. And I started sharing ISAGENIX full time after 4.5 months. And then we moved into our dream home in 9 months, you guys. And, we now are doing the things that we want and love to do, not the things we have to do. And it comes through helping people. See, the income we've made, me and my wife have made $10 million now in ISAGENIX. We're in the seven-figure club. And I don't say this to impress anybody. Money's, I don't love money. I appreciate money and what it allows me to do and the impact that it allows me to make. And the things that we get to do quality-wise as a family and the vacations we get to take. But the seven-figure club, that's over $1 million a year in that club. But to go from where I was, you guys, praying for God to take my life and just not seeing the solutions and not knowing what I was going to do, but continuing to believe and have hope and faith, and it showed up in my life. It's taken work. This didn't happen overnight. But it's a work that I enjoy doing. It's something that I really love doing. It doesn't mean that there's not challenges and that there's not things to overcome. But I was experiencing that in my other job as a mechanic. And I had to take on a paper route, to try and get through the month. And we still weren't getting through the month. So I still had the challenges with what I was doing before ISAGENIX, but the life that I'm able to live now, it's literally a fairy tale dream come true. I couldn't have imagined it. It's been just a progression. And I'll just share this with you, and then I'll see if you're still able to talk with us, Alix, and close this out. But my first goal was to take my wife to dinner and a movie on the same night, because I couldn't afford to do that. I wanted to go to a nice restaurant and then be able to go to the movies. And we never did that. And we did that. We did it very quickly with ISAGENIX. Then the next goal was to get brand new tires for my car. I had a Honda Civic. It had 300,000 miles on it. And I would buy used car tires for $25 from the tire store, and then I could install them. My next goal was to buy brand new tires rather than used, worn out tires. And it was just a progression. And as I progressed and gone forward, I've grown as an individual, as I've set new goals. It's the person you become by setting those goals. Now, me and my wife, we do a podcast. We help people to understand mentally how to move forward and be successful. That podcast was ranked number 12 in the world by Inc. magazine. It's called Mechanic to Millionaire Podcast. We get to do these things because of the people that we've been becoming and the growth and the progress and this culture that actually facilitates that and encourages that. And that's the bigger movement. It's the bigger picture of what's really going on and helping people to move forward in their lives. That's what I love doing. And so, Alix, just see if yep, there you are. So I'll try and unmute you. See if we can get it here. Oops, there we go. Okay.
Okay, you got me?
Yep. Let's close this out.
I just want to say this is so incredible, and I used to be in another company, and I was definitely not too excited. I was pretty closed about getting into doing network marketing again, but it was only because of lack of integrity and just some issues that this company just completely blew out of the water. I'm so blessed and honored and excited to be part of this and to be able to share these products and to have found a home here. It's really exciting. And so I'm excited to go. And I just want to thank you so much, Dave, for doing all of this for us and supporting us and helping us to share this with other people. And I just invite you guys to take a look at it. Once you have those results, I'm telling you, people are going to be asking anyway. So you may as well know how to do this and be able to plug back in and make it easier on yourself too, to be able to be on these products and who knows, maybe take it even further. So thank you so much.
Let me just say, Alix, for those that don't know you guys, I would be so excited for you to be able to be on Alix's team. She is a rock star. She's so committed and she's so capable and so filled with integrity that you guys, just to work with Alix, I would be like, I'm in, right? And then you get all of this other great stuff that goes along with that. And so it's been truly just no coincidence that we're able to work together. And there's Malcolm, and it's just an awesome team that you're developing. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to change a lot of lives. So we hope that you're going to be some of them. Thank you so much again for being here and for doing this and gifting us with all of this, Dave. You really go above and beyond, and you don't need to. So thank you.
Okay, you guys.
Thanks everybody for being here.
Bye-bye.